Berlin, Germany, and week 4 of the LEC Spring Split. The German powerhouse Schalke 04 is coming in hot this week and look to secure yet another win today in their first matchup against Origin. Origin as well, looking to keep up on a streak after their win yesterday, hoping that they can keep putting those wins on the board as Duke braces the icy cold winds to enter the building. Now, I'm Daniel Dracos here with the double analyst threat of Dan Foxdrop Wyatt and Indiana Frostgurren Black. Welcome.
Have we decided what the duo name is?
I think there's only one thing our duo name can be. That would add Sam Broadcast.
You've decided a lot of things that it can't be, and I would encourage you not to go through those.
We're here. Foxy Frost wasn't bad either.
Foxy Frost.
Yeah, that's cool.
Foxy Frost.
And Friends.
Foxy Frost and Friends. That is the name of the desk here today. Well, with yesterday's results, G2 Esports are still undefeated in first place, followed by Schalke. Schalke coming out as one of the biggest surprises so far.
I think you said powerhouse, and I think that fits them exactly. It's the fact that this is a brand new lineup. We didn't expect them to have the synergy, and you really can't attack them anywhere. The lane phase, the team fighting, their ability to play 1-3-1, 5v5, it doesn't matter. Schalke are good at everything.
And look at the way they do these plays right here. Memento specifically, just is clutch. You can't look at one teammate here and say, yo, this is a weak link on this team. They just get it done. You know, they steal the dragon, they win the team fight. What more do you want from this squad?
Special shout out to Otto as well on the Jace. Pops in at the very end, but I always love to see him on the carry picks.
Memento is, yeah, kind of the guy that you put your eyes towards, but of course it is Ottawamne who does stomp the top lane matchup for the vast majority of that game. And of course another team that we have to put our eyes on is Fnatic. It feels like this is a team that is finally putting the pieces together. Foxtrot, we were very critical of them, of their draft up against Misfits last week, but going into this game up against XL, it did feel a little bit more coordinated.
Yeah, and there's a lot more confidence in the way that Fnatic were playing as well, especially coming out of the mid-jungle duo. Nemesis and Broxah really looked like Broxah from World Finals was an absolute sickly sin, and he had some pretty good plays yesterday as well. And Nemesis really just looked like he was more sorted in his role, you know, like it wasn't a weak link or anything like that, and really, if you're a Fnatic fan, that's what you want to look at moving forward.
My questions will always be about how the meta is going to continue to impact Fnatic. They are playing more of the crit-oriented ADCs. They haven't quite slotted in as well here, and as we start changing over 9.2, 9.3, maybe things get better for Fnatic.
Well, speaking of meta changes, I'm now curious to see exactly what's going to happen with Sylas. 100% presence. We did say he would always be picked or banned in every game.
Nailed it.
When he did get picked, he's 0-3, and he's not looking great. And I'm curious from your perspective, Foxdrop, you've been playing a ton of this champion.
I love it.
Is Sylas the problem? Is the draft the problem?
But you got a flame.
What's going on?
Yeah, okay. Who's going to hate me for this one? Right, let's see. I don't want to give up on Sylas just yet as a champion. I think, yeah, okay. Don't listen to Frost.
Bold decision.
Well, okay, it's been 1 day. It's been 1 day. He's a new champion. I think people are still finding their footing with him, and I think he does have potential. Let's not forget the way his ultimate works. It's like his direct usefulness comes from how good, what he can do for the enemies.
So it's not Sylas that's bad, it's that the enemy team did draft him.
I think we're having a discussion where what we wanted is that Sylas has to find a matchup where he's already good before you start thinking about stealing ultimates. And I think tank Sylas is the way to go, because again, if he's just relying on his utility and his viability in a game because of the ultimates he can steal, probably not going to be great in the professional scene.
Honestly, I've just got my fingers crossed for a little bit more, but for our daily G2 check-in, we're joined by a reporter on the stream, Trevor. Quick shot, Henry, what do you got for us?
Well, they're still first, Dracos!
Thank you very much, Trevor. Excellent insight, as always, into the current standing of G2. And while G2 are looking unstoppable, there is one member that deserves some extra time in the spotlight. And for more, here's Medic.
An often overlooked role in League of Legends is the supporting role. It can be a thankless task for most people. Well, not today. Today, we'll take a quick look at one of the best supports in our league and what makes him so exceptional. Let's talk about Mikyx. First off, you have to start in the laning phase. The G2 bottom lane has at times shown some signs of weakness, but Mickey consistently shows up. Look at Perkz here. He gets caught out with the Winter's Bite really early on, and Mickey realizes he needs to stop Jackson and Attila getting onto his backline. He flays them back, he then lands an incredible hook on towards Attila as well, and follows it up with a flay that totally turns the play around, actually getting 2 flashes out of the Vitality bottom lane. Now, being a support isn't only about making highlight plays, it's also about supporting your team in the mid-game team fights, and that's why Mickey is so good. Every time Caps dives in, Mickey's there to save him with a lantern, even positioning it in such a way that Vitality find it really hard to block. Now, for all of you solo queue grinders out there, Mickey continues to prove that supports can make plays too. Last week against Splyce, Norscaelen thinks that he's caught Mickey underneath their tower, but Mickey has other ideas. He hooks the Alistar out of the headbutt pulverize combo, then stuns Norscaelen with the Ghostwater dive, and cleans up the kill with a death from below. Mickey is one of the best supports in the league, and he's an underappreciated member of G2. Our supports have to stick together. Dracos, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Medic. Mickey, of course, looking fantastic. Still not happy with Medic, our own resident Clark Kent.
He looks like Superman.
He's looking great.
I'm waiting for
Shout out
him
to him. But even better than Medic forces, we see Mickey's performance here, and this is some stunning numbers for support. I think a little bit courtesy of the fact that they're undefeated currently, but Mickey has been a standout performer thus far.
Yeah.
Oh, you want it?
Well, you know,
It's up, get it?
Okay, I've got the baton, I'm running with it. I think it's really hard to shine when you, like you mentioned, everyone on G2 is really blooming good and they're performing really well this split, but just look at these stats. First, second, like, it's supports don't get enough love as they should, as Medic pointed out, but there's a huge reason to praise this guy right here, because he is the unsung hero of G2.
For me, it's the fact that he's a playmaking-oriented support. You know, it's not like he's just sitting back there and he's cashing in on the fact that G2 are just winning all across the map, and then it's just a byproduct of having all of that gold and all of those stats in his back pocket. It's that Mickey makes the plays, and he's helping set up G2 for those massive moments.
And I'm excited to see him keep doing that in the games to come. Of course, Sylas, he's been able to steal a lot of ultimates, but he's still 0-3, so we want to take it one step further and took 4 spells and 1 passive to create our ultimate champion, combining a single Q, W, E, R, and passive from any champion in the game to make the most broken, unique options possible. Let's say creative. Broken is the appropriate word. I think I started. I want to start with mine. Now this one is special. It comes with a simple concept, which is that if you are bad at League of Legends, you want to be able to kill people. And you want to be, how do you kill people when you're bad? You use point and click abilities. So what do? You're going to start with a Pantheon W. You jump in, you stun them. They're locked down. You follow up with a skill shot. Can't miss when they're already stunned. Maybe you copy it with LeBlanc. And then it all comes in together into the most beautiful champion ever created, LeBlankiopia, which is, notice the OP is where you put the emphasis, because by combining Twin Fang from Cassio's kit, that's a ½ second cooldown, folks. With the Pyromania of Annie, we have,
just
if
keep
I've
them
done my
stunned.
math correctly, perma CC, literal permanent CC. Doesn't matter how bad you are, you push just the Pantheon W to get it started, and they'll be stunned forever as long as you roll your face across that keyboard.
Which you sound like you're very good at doing that.
Yeah, it's
Not much else with your keyboard, but we'll give you that. No offense, man.
you just gotta throw me under just in the midst of my beautiful creation. Fine. All right. So maybe my champion's a little brain dead. I'll give you that, but very strong. Frostburn, what have you got?
My time to shine. My champion's not only brain dead, but I only have fun at League of Legends when no one else is having fun at League of Legends. So this is my creation. Looks much more metal and much more badass than yours.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what you got is you got the Braum passive. So you want to make sure that you can get that proc, so you can do that damage, get that stun. Need more damage, need more CC, guess what? You got Alistar Pulverize. You want to chase them down, you got Malphite W. You want to hook them back, you got Pyke E. And to top it all off, you have a Malphite ultimate. You are never going anywhere. There is no playing, and the point of this champion is that you force a 4v5 every single time, because someone's going to rage quit.
I like that. I like those 3 champions in the head. It's a very well sculpted.
That is.
It's
Yeah,
very well
shout
sculpted.
out to the, I'm going to call it mediocre Photoshop team behind the scenes that like puts these together on the fly. And we're like, we want to do a weird champion segment. They're like, I have just the tools to do that. And they just start layering all these champions on top of each other. And I like also that you've decided to make a champion that not only similar to mine, offers a lot of CC, but has almost no kill potential ever at any point, and just continuously locks people down. Foxtrot, are you on the perma CC hype train? Is this what you're about?
I'm going for a slightly different path.
Oh my god, this is horrifying.
Let's say we're still cousins. Mediocre at best. Whoa. Did you hear that? What was that lower third right there?
Yeah,
It said
pop it
Foxtrot
back up.
mediocre at best. What's going on? I didn't flame you. That was him, by the way. Nah. We're not having that. I would like to demonstrate my champion today with a faithful assistant. May I use you? Okay. Look at this passive down there. This is a Teemo passive. We're hidden. No, we're not. We're here. Rocket grab. That's the Q. We're gonna grab you. She comes over here.
Almost died.
She's right next to me. We'll skip the W for now. And she's taunted. So I'm moving backwards, just slowly moving backwards. She's coming towards me. And if this isn't enough, you grab the Stinger and you drag her to the death. And that's it. You're sorted. I'm actually dragging. Oh god, I'm actually dragging you. You drag her. And she's done. But that's only 4.
I feel like this is a very special
We need
So as
one
I'm
more.
running away, what's the last ability?
The icing on the cake, the Zori W, Now, I'm not going to lie, I put this in there just because I hate it and I think it's disgusting. But it actually does have good synergy with the rest of it, because if you flash away from me, I'm going to follow you because I'm going to pick up your flash. And I'll probably pick up a redemption
Okay,
in
just to
lane.
be clear, you have built a stealthed up CC bot that just hides in bushes and hooks people.
I'm not sure what I've built, but I'm not particularly proud of it.
It is hideous.
But it's something.
It is hideous, I'll be honest.
That's a nightmare.
That is actually pretty scary.
Child Robo-Skarner is a little terrifying. That's all I'm going to say. All right, well, we've also asked Vedius to give us his ultimate champion, and we've got a list of spells here. I'll start to read them off. So starts off with Umbra Blades, so Nocturne passive, classic, keeping to his brand. Dustbringer is the second ability. That's Nocturne's Q. The third one is Shroud of Dark. God. All right, it's Nocturne. Vedius' champion is Nocturne. Wow, really?
Why did we even let him
We said
submit
he could make
anything?
the most broken champion possible. He could have gone with a more trolly theme like Foxtrot. He could have gone for trying to ruin people's days like Frostgrid. He could have gone for Brain Dead, doesn't need mechanics, just point click like me, and he goes for Nocturne.
At least it looks cool.
That's what you're gonna say about that?
This Photoshop, this
it's
Vedius
so like,
face
oh.
on Nocturne has gotten the most mileage out of any like champion Photoshop
For good
ever
reason.
conceived.
It's a good picture.
God. All right, well, enough of Vedius. Later tonight, we've got a rumble in the jungle as star players Maxlor and Xerxes go head-to-head in Splice versus Misfits.
The meta in England is just to like, yeah, go to school, get good grades, go to university, get a job, get married, have kids. Well, I don't want to be 40 years old looking back in my life and being like, I just did standard stuff. So League of Legends, like, gaming is just, as weird as it sounds, was the main reason I live for.
Walking in, kicking it back. Does have a trap, but it's not enough.
Biggest snowball ever starting to come in. Miffy holds onto the flat for a few seconds, goes very, very low.
I'm not too stressed about Maxlor because I remember last time I played him in the gauntlet, he got demolished, so I'm not worried about him.
Maxwell actually pulled all the way out of his ultimate there. That was incredible from Splice.
He plays like late game comps and just scales, and you know, he's 3K behind in 50 minutes. If he considers that smashing, then yeah, good for him. I've talked about trust exercises with Steven, you know, him knocking out my tooth, so obviously there's like big trust issues there. But the one thing I do trust this guy on is that if he has a winning matchup, he will win his lane, no matter what.
That's a chase forward from Hunsama, and Gorilla is able to set Hunsama up once again.
Me and Gorilla, we are close friends in the team. I trust him a lot, and I feel he trusts me a lot.
제가 지금 믿고 따르시는 건 스티븐. 그 친구만 믿고 따라간다면은 저희가 이길 수 있지 않나.
What I like about Noscaron is that he plays the same way, you know. He's not scared to go 0-10. Like that guy doesn't give a shit.
Kobe and Noscaron against Hunsama Gorilla. I mean, there's no words really. Xerxes has like a month where he's really good. The rest of the time he's just like invisible, trash, bad.
If Maxlor was as good as his trash talking, maybe Misfits would have won something.
I love that people are getting less and less afraid of firing shots in the LEC. It feels like the second this year kicked off, people are like, oh, I'm ready to talk smack. And Xerxes backing it up, Maxlor looking to back it up here as well. I'm hyped for this matchup.
They're creative in the shit talk, they're creative in their pathing, and that's what I actually really like about this jungle matchup. It's the two most creative junglers going head-to-head. Xerxes with his picks, Maxlor with his game plan.
Xerxes with his beard and Maxwell with his beard as well, so I think we're all happy.
I like that. I like that. Thank you for that, Fox.
Gonna be a good game. That's what I'm here for, mate. Top tier analysis.
And I mean, we're just waiting to see who's going to dethrone Cabochard as the Beard King. Of course, you can get a closer look at the action in our POV stream at twitch.tv/RiotGames2 featuring Gorilla. No beards there, but probably some excellent support play. There's, of course, more action coming up today as we close out week 4 of the LEC Spring Split. And as we look across this schedule, I think there's a lot of standout matchups to me. Of course, you have Fnatic G2 later in the day. You've got Misfits, Splice, which we've already hit. Origin, desperately going to try to fight Schalke. What are you guys most excited about?
I think, honestly, the second game, people might not be a bit unassuming matchup, SK versus Rogue, but both of these teams, in my humble opinion, I think Rogue especially is better on paper than their record would suggest. And if they want to pick up a win, then against SK, it's good competition to do against.
I think that is fair to say that it isn't reflecting in the scoreboard, but you can actually see clear improvements week after week for Rogue, and it's just a matter of time before they're able to kind of align the stars for a victory to
Before
pick up.
Kikis hard carries a game and they get a win on the
Someone's gonna hard carry.
Someone's going to hard carry. It's going to happen. Somebody has to win that game. We're going to find out who, of course, in the race for Superior Analyst, me and the fans, are still just silencing the experts. If we're honest, we've got the next level predictions. And guys, I want to take a quick moment. If you're at home, if you've been been predicting on Twitter, we're going to share a special moment. We need a high five. I can't high five them because they're losers. So me and you, right here, whoever you are at home, in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Bam. That's us. That's our team. You guys get nothing. You'll get a high five when you win something, because that's 26 for me. That's 26 for Twitter. You guys are trailing behind. StatSpot's getting blasted too. But for some reason, StatSpot's also predicted Splyce. And
I saw him get stuck under a table outside, so I just think that StatSpot's having a bad day.
it's hit or miss. I think it's safe to say. Foxtrot, are you feeling confident?
Well,
You can't make up any gaps. I'm just wondering if you're feeling confident.
I'm moderately confident. Moderately confident.
Well, we're all going to have the same score, and that's all that matters. It's
I
a
can't
team
fall too far
game.
behind.
Today is the participation award in predictions, at least outside of StatSpot. Well, our dedicated NA secret agent, Ender, is still making waves across the Atlantic. Now let's see what happened when he surprised a familiar face earlier this week.
Hello again. I'm Ender, doing this thing. Today I'm joined by David Freak Turkey, star of Champion Spotlight, Primetime League, and caster of one of our largest wildcard regions. Glad to have you on the show.
I feel like you're getting a lot wrong.
So David, Mr. Freak, can I call you David?
You know, I think you should refer to me as NA greater than EU. I think that should be...
I'm gonna go with Mr. Freak. So Mr. Freak Turkey, let's talk puns. Just tell me what was going through your head when you thought of this. Woo, chick, get out the way.
I was thinking that someone who is grossly underqualified is going to interview me about that line.
You're here to promote the show you're on.
Yeah.
And now critics have said that this, what it lacks in gameplay, it makes up for in length. And this, of course, is The Freak Show, which you can find on twitch.tv/LCS on Saturdays and Sundays.
I get it. See, that's actually a well-written joke, because you're implying that the LCS, the North American Professional League, is a freak show. Yeah, that was actually clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who gave you that line?
How many world championships is North America?
Ooh. If you count World Cyber Games, that's one.
Cloud9 versus Fnatic.
I think we won that once with like Battle of Atlantic.
Hey, get in here. This is our guest.
He's taking over your spot, right?
Nope.
Wait, no,
he's here to make up for what we're missing with you. And of course, this is Blaustoise, if you don't know. He is the best Yasuo at Riot. He's a little bit toxic, and he famously beat Tiger1, which is more than some people here can say for themselves, in a 1v1 on stream. And he's here to help settle the debate of EU greater than NA.
It's EU. Wow. Looks like he really blew this interview.
So let's talk data, because Blaustoise, he works on the Insights team, so you handle a lot of this. What's better, winning one world final or 0?
You're more likely to win a world final if you're in the final.
Right, and probably even more likely if you have 2 teams in semifinals as opposed to just a 1.
Naturally.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
I think this year, Europe has really stepped up. For example, it feels like every team in LEC can beat the World Finals this year. It's incredible. You guys have really improved a lot. Because before, you really only had Fnatic, and now everyone can beat them. You guys really leveled up. I'm proud of you. LEC finally has more than one team they can be proud of, and I'm so happy.
We'll see you at Rift Rivals. So Blau, you play a lot of mana-less champions, and speaking of Tyler1, you beat him again in a 1v1 on stream. Can you help out King David here and just tell us a bit about that and give him some tips, perhaps?
Well, so if you go back and watch it, we played Yasuo, then Aurelia, and then Katarina. Won on Yasuo, lost on Aurelia, and I won on Katarina. Do you follow?
That's a 2-1 victory.
Yes. But where's the mana?
That wraps it up for us, Blau. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. So take it easy. Let's get you stare right in the camera for me.
Which one?
want you to repeat after me, and we'll edit me out.
EU is
greater than NA.
David Freak Turkey?
David Freak Turkey. I want that to live on for years to come. God bless Ender. For the record, if you guys are wondering where Ender's at, well, he's going to be here for week 5. I'm sad that it took him this long to get here, but because it created that beautiful masterpiece, I'm going to call worth, but you can make up your own.
I hear he's like 8 feet tall.
Ender is in fact 8 feet tall. You've not met him in person. Is that true?
No. He's like
as large as that screen right there, actually. That's
really excited for Take Your Child to Work Day when I get to stand next to him.
He's the human equivalent of Ivern. That's why it's between 2 Iverns.
Oh,
Ender is Ivern incarnate. All right, well, enough about our soon-to-be comrade over here in the LEC. Let's look ahead towards our first game, Schalke versus Origen, with the number 2 team in EU looking to continue their solid form. Now, Frost Curran, you had a lot of things to say about this team, so hit us with them.
I mean, where do you want to start? If you want to go early game, you grab Memento and Ignar, the jungle duo. They have incredible jungle proximity, and they are in charge of every single roaming play. They constantly unlock Ignar from that lane and get him involved. If you want to go mid-game, grab Abadage and Ottawamne. Not only do they have incredible forward percentage in their lanes and can smash lane phase, their team fighting is incredible. And speaking of incredible team fighters, if you want to go late game, you then have Upset, probably the most mechanically talented ADC performing in the league right now.
And if you just take out G2, this is hands down the best team in the LEC. But obviously you have to take out G2. But you want to talk about one more thing that they've got going for them, and it is highlight reels. And for that, we have to look at our boy Ignar pulling out the Blitzcrank yesterday. Such an incredible game, an incredible, like, it's just such a return to form. It's exactly what European fans thought would happen when he came back. I thought it was, I didn't know if it was going to happen, but it just did.
And it's also the confidence, you know, to pick a pick like Blitzcrank, especially against his former team, his former partner in crime in Hans Sama, and it looked like a targetable ability. That's a skill shot. He found Hans Sama every single time. Gorilla giving him the buy one, get one free on that that delivery right there. But ultimately, Ignar, to have that confidence is kind of like the cherry on top for Schalke. It's not only that they know that they're good, but then they'll play like they know that they're good.
And honestly, we're just lucky he's playing League of Legends and not CS, because that boy would be snapback banned the second he busted out that Blitzcrank on any server. Well, if we look at their opponents, Origen have shown some promise lately. Granted, against some of those weaker opponents, it hasn't been the clearest cut road for Origen, but we did see improvement yesterday.
And frankly, Origen should have been a similar story as Schalke. I think a lot more people were high on this roster just because there should have been a lot more inbuilt synergy with all of these veteran names kind of stacking back together, and so much money and power put into the infrastructure. And frankly, it's an execution issue. The only people that Origen have been playing are themselves. The blueprint is starting to get ironed out. It's getting a little bit more crisp, a little bit cleaner. Some of those solo and isolated deaths are starting to come down, but Origen need to continue with their momentum, turn the page, and start proving to people that they can be excited about this EU sweetheart team.
And now, of course, one thing that you can be kind of looking forward to is that Origen did have a weaker opponent yesterday. You can hope that they've maybe done some special prep for Schalke today, that they have a way to attack. You have former Schalke coach Andre on stage going up against them. Maybe he has some insight that can help dismantle this new roster, but there's no doubt that it is a bit Schalke favored. Now, the top lane matchup, though, is one area where it could potentially turn. Alphari versus Ottawamne, and Alphari is the guy that I want to start with here because he has been stepping up recently. It was a rough start from the season, but it feels like he's finally starting to get back into that form that we know from him.
And it was kind of that Kennen game. A little bit questionable on some of the plays, but he just needs to find that consistency. But that's what you want. Alphari is supposed to be this hard carry-oriented, laning top laner. And against Ottawamne, who's also currently in form, I think this is where everything needs to start for Origen. I want to see them go back to playing cold Alphari, focus up into the top side, and setting him up for success.
And I just want to see that focus, and I think that's the important thing that you highlighted. So they want to see them pick a lane. For me, I agree with you. I want to see Alphari as well. But as long as Origen is busting out some kind of consistent strategy, I think fans can be optimistic that this team can do more and that they can show us more. Of course, on the opposite side, Ottawamne is an incredible story because if you looked at this guy back during his time on Splyce, it was very, very different. You look at the stats on your screen. Of course, the one I want to point out to you immediately, Frostgurn, is forward percentage. This man was playing back, he was playing tanks, he was getting beaten in every laning phase, and now he spends 40% of his time past that halfway mark, ready to push anybody under their tower.
I mean, you said it. The key word there is tanks. This is a meta difference between Odo. Odo is finally unlocked in a meta to shine. And I said it yesterday, and I'll repeat it today. Urgot as a priority pick is so high value right now on 9.2, but it doesn't mean as much if Schalke give it away because of Odo's pocket picks like that Kennen, like the Jace, these range champions that can compete with Urgot in the top lane. It gives Schalke a very definitive edge, and if they do want to grab the Urgot and give it to him, I have no doubt that Odo can perform on the champion.
And now what I want to see, though, is the draft, because we continue to talk about this as we see top-of-the-table contenders about how they can approach draft, how some of these individual advantages can make their draft so much easier. So if we're talking about top lane, is there anything Alphari can do to stop the currently the revitalized Odoamne, the revive, the rebirth of Odoamne I think we see in the top lane?
I mean, first and foremost, Alphari, back to basics. Just go back to being that lane god that you were once known for. Clean it up, tighten it up, don't fall down in lane phase, and let Odo walk all over you. Once you have that locked down, I would like to see him plug more into the 2v2 and top side, because something that's so potent and powerful about Schalke is that Odo creates his own leads, and then their ability to 1-3-1 and split up a map. They'll team fight you, they'll side lane you, they can do it all. Alphari needs to be the first break on stopping that if Origen want to have a chance in this game.
And interestingly enough, with Origen coming through in this game, I think the other match that we have to shift to that's supporting this that you've now brought up is Cold versus Memento. And Memento has been very active in the early game, and it feels like Cold on the Nunu is still struggling to find some of that footing. When we look at the 2v2, when we get out of just this 1v1 capacity, do you feel like that's somewhere that Origen can shift the advantage, or does that still go in the favor of Schalke?
It almost feels that Origen are still kind of figuring out where to plug Cold in. Again, we've seen so many different looks from Origen. If they're going to prioritize top side, bot side, maybe they're giving counter pick to Nukeduck and letting him run over a lane with Vayne in the mid lane or something like that. Whatever their plan is that they want to execute on, it does start with Cold, whereas with Schalke, it seems a much cleaner and more crisp blueprint. You know that Memento is going to be a high proactive jungler with Ignar, and he's going to start setting up kind of roaming vision plays, contesting jungle, making sure that
theoretically. In practice, it doesn't.
No.
No, theoretically, it doesn't either. But, you know, we can say these things to make